Joining us now, Congressman Doug Collins, the ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee. He's also running for the United States Senate in Georgia. Congressman, great to have you with us, and thanks so much.
Louis, good to be with you.
Let me start first with the FISA courts. How could responsible leaders in the Senate and the House and this White House and the Justice Department not insist on reform and not to reauthorize those courts until that reform is implemented?
Well, Lou, this is terrible. And really what we're happening here, we set aside this in the continuing resolution so that we could have time to not only take in the Horowitz report, to not only take in what was actually said there in the recommendations made, but also give us some time as a committee to actually look at this court, to tell what changes need to be made. Anybody that thinks that there's not to be changes made here is just not being honest with themselves. You've touched on it here just briefly. The problems that we've seen in the last few years have shown that we need to make major changes to our FISA court so that we can make sure that people, American citizens like Carter Page and others, are not illegally spied upon. We've seen the problems in those warrants, and that we don't go after political campaigns such as the one of the president, who, and then also as he became president. So this is something that's got to be done, but I am so disappointed in my chairman. Instead, he was so focused on the sham impeachment, so focused on everything else. We're not had any hearings at all to move this down the line, and now we're wanting to mark it up. This should not happen in the way. The bill that they've brought forward does not provide the protections, and we're going to make sure that we look at alternatives to that so that we can restore confidence in this system, because otherwise no one should have confidence, and to simply say this should be rubber stamped is a wrong idea.
Well, I just want to congratulate you, Congressman, for your leadership in trying to bring these abuses to the public, doing so, and trying to get reform. Now, you've sent a letter to Chairman Nadler, chairman of the Judiciary Committee. Has he responded? How has he responded?
I'm not sure what happens sometimes to my letters to Chairman Nadler, because they just don't seem to get responded to. I've not seen one. May have sent it at the last minute. But again, when Nevin Nunes and I send this letter, is to say we've got to have these changes. We've got to look at what's going on here. Lou, everywhere I go, and I think you do as well, we hear people that are very much concerned about the politicization of the Justice Department under President Obama and the long-term effects that had of the intelligence community with Brennan and Clapper, and then that wonderful cabal of Comey and Page and Strzok and McCabe that we released transcripts. We showed what was going on, and now even the Horowitz report actually shows the problems in that were faulty warrants, using a fake dossier, using all these things. We need to actually look at this court and take it for what it is, and that is a protection on the American people.
Absolutely. And there is, well, it just stuns me that A.G. Barr is hesitant, as he put it. Now, I don't know what's going on with the Attorney General, but I do know this, that he has very little to show the American people for a year as Attorney General in cleaning up that department and the FBI. There has not been a single official held accountable. What does it mean? Is he part of the problem now, whether it's FISA abuses, whether it's general political corruption throughout the top of the FBI and the Justice Department?
I don't think so as far as it goes right now. I will say this. I was disappointed in the McCabe issue. I think he should have been charged. I think even if it went through and somehow it got
so did the Inspector General.
Yeah, we should have seen that. I don't know what, that would at least send a message to the American people. You can't lie, to the FBI or law enforcement for that matter. But I do have respect in the fact that he has cleaned up the upper levels. A lot of all those folks are gone. We do have Mr. Durham out there who is looking at this, and he did take it to the farther extent of including the intelligence community in that investigation. So I'm anxious to see what happens there, and I'm looking forward to what Mr. Durham says.
At what point do we say there's a problem? Because we were supposed to have a report, as you well know, last year, twice last year. Here we are. We still don't have any resolution on FISA. Instead, we're getting noises like, I'm hesitant, when it's clear and plain as it can be that we have a tremendous problem in the FISA courts, as you have documented. Yes. And I mean, and we've got, obviously, we listened to Amy Berman Jackson in the Roger Stone trial, obviously as politically biased as she can be, and still nothing. And we've got at the same time the Chief Justice of the United States, who is responsible for those FISA courts, telling people, well, trying to shove pablum down their throats, if they can believe it, that there's no Trump justice, there's no Obama justice, there's no Clinton justice, no Bush justice. Bull. That's exactly what we're looking at here, a politicized court.
We have been, and I think that's why it needs to be changed. Now, look, I'll understand if they want to make sure that it doesn't hold up our true counterintelligence, the things that it's supposed to be doing. But we can do that, Lou. We can do it without interfering with our true intent of that court, making sure we catch the terrorists, making sure we catch the bad guys. But we've got to do this because if we don't restore faith in this system, then the American people are going to look at it as simply basically as the problematic problem that it did with the president and with others, where they don't trust that their own lives are not being surveilled because they don't trust a court that should be there to protect them, and it's not. So we can do this, but it's got to be done collectively, and it's got to be done in the right way so that people can restore trust in that system.
Do you think that any American should trust those courts until they're reformed? And do you think any American is dumb enough to think that the same nonsense, be patient, wait for this, wait for that. Should we eat any more of this? Because I really think it's starting to be just a little bit of a strain on the gut.
Well, I think the FISA court itself, when they complained about what they found and what was done to them and through the Horowitz report and others, have come to this conclusion as well. My hope is this is the week that we have a chance to stop it, and it shouldn't just be rubber stamped in the Senate. It shouldn't be rubber stamped to say, let's just do it as it is. I think there's got to be some real discussion about it. We're going to start leading that fight this week because I'm disappointed that my chairman decided to just mark something up without actually finding out the real results. But believe me, Lou, I'm not going to stop talking about this until we actually get some real reform.
Well, we appreciate that, and I wish you all the luck in the world. Thank you so much, Congressman. Great to have you here. Thanks for everything you're doing.